University. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. You're welcome. Oh, thank you, Namazula. I hope I pronounced your well. Thanks for joining. You're joining us from Uganda. Thank you, George, joining us from Nairobi, Kenya. Thanks for joining. I hope you're ready with your pen and paper, ready to learn. So this will be our last webinar for this year. Oh, thank you, Patra from Abuja, Nigeria. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Welcome. Welcome to Career Reframing. So this is Career Reframing series. We'll have a webinar bi-monthly every time. And we actually look at the aspect of a professional life. So that's the aspect of preparing you for the career itself before you get the job. Even at the intermediate of getting the job, we help you to ace your interviews, job interviews. And finally, when you get the job, when you're in the role, so we help you to strategically position yourself at your new role so that you can excel at it. So you're welcome to Career Reframing. We'll be talking on personal brand identity today. We are so eager to learn. We have a guru in the house that will put us through on how to position ourselves, how to brand ourselves individually. And I feel it's something that we all need to end the year so that by this time we are starting 2025, we are starting on a new note. We are starting big. We are starting big. Thank you, Patricia, for joining us from Uganda. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for joining. You're welcome. Looking forward to sharing with everyone. So as you're joining in, please tell us where you're joining from. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on the location you're joining from. We're happy to have you here. Happy to have you here. Okay, we have more people joining. So we'll just wait for, so excuse me, we'll wait for some minutes so that people can join in before we start. We have more people joining in already. So as you're coming in, good morning, good afternoon, depending on the location you're joining us from. So we'd like to meet you, we'd like to know where you're joining us from. So you can use the chat box to just let us know where you're joining us from. And today's session promises to be very, very insightful. This is all about us. Talking about our personal branding, how we can brand ourselves, how we can position ourselves beyond our job title. So you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. This is Career Reframing for those just joining. So Career Reframing, we are all about the professional life, looking at your life in the 3 aspects, which I mentioned earlier. So that's when you're trying to get a career, when you're trying to move into your career. So as you prepare to put your career in motion and set your career goals, we are here to assist you. We also talk about the intermittent of getting that job. How do you secure a job? How do you ace your interview? How do you prepare for the interview? So we look into this too. And by the time you get the job and you're now on the roll, how do you strategically position yourself to excel, to stand out amongst your peer in the organization? So this is what Career Reframing is all about. We are all about helping you to build a fulfilling career for you. So you're welcome. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. It's good to have you here. So this will be our last webinar for 2024. So we are ending on a good note, right? We are ending with branding. So how to brand ourselves, how to position ourselves so that we can enhance the opportunity we find ourselves in. We can prepare for it. So thank you for joining. Thank you. Okay, we have more people joining. So if you're just joining in, please tell us where you're joining from, your location. We'd like to meet you. Just tell us where you're joining us from. So you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. So we'll just hold on a bit. Okay, we are 6 minutes into the session already. Okay. So today we'll be talking on personal brand identity beyond the job title, right? So this is all about us. And this is all about us. So we'll be having our guests. So let me just do a brief intro, then we'll have our on so that we can make good use of our time. So let me introduce to us. So today we'll be having the honor to have Daisy Kater. I hope I pronounced the name well. To host this webinar on behalf of Career Reframing Series. So Daisy is a communication and PR professional who loves helping professionals and business create strong, impactful online presence. She's also a personal brand strategic who believes everyone has a unique story that can give them an edge, even if they don't realize it yet. So she's helping us to realize that. So she graduated with a degree in corporate communication and management from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology and has over 4 years experience working in the executive role. Daisy is also the host of Personal Branding Uncomplicated, a podcast where she breaks down personal branding into simple and actionable ideas. Our career journey has been diverse. She worked with startup as a communication coordinator. She ran her own laundry businesses, interned with government organization, and now run a consulting business. This mix of experience allow her to connect with people from all walks of life, helping them bring out their authentic story and turn them into career or business advantage. So so I still have one more line. So Daisy has a natural way of connecting with people. We can see that even looking at her face, she has that personality, understanding their unique strengths and helping them shine. So today she's excited to share with us how we can build a personal brand that truly reflects who we are. So with much ado, so let's welcome Daisy to take us on this journey. So Daisy, you have the floor. Let me stop my sharing. We're happy to have you. Yeah. So over to you.
Thank you so much. Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you and we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. That was a lovely introduction. And I'd love to thank Purity as well for giving me this opportunity to come and speak about personal branding, which is a topic that I am absolutely obsessed with. I could talk about personal branding all day, every day. And yeah, so it's amazing to see that we have people from different parts of the world, or Africa rather, and maybe just Abi Bola, Abi. Have I said that right?
Yeah, Abi is fine.
Abi, yes, Abi is yeah. Maybe you could tell me, or our audience could tell me just a bit about what they do, just their background, so that even when I'm having this presentation, I have that in mind and tailor it towards, what exactly they do. So maybe even in the chats, we could just say, if you're in banking, if you're employed, if there's someone who's running their own business, or are we all in corporate, just to have a feel of what that looks like, if that's okay. Yeah, let me try see from the charts.
So I just put in mine. Yeah.
So in what maybe our backgrounds, our industries, just so that I can have some points to reference here and there when I'm making my presentation, and also just to understand, this meeting online meetings where you're basically speaking to a screen. It's important for me to connect with my audience by understanding at least what they do, so that I can, I'm Flavia. I'm in CR communications. Is that it? Then there's Jerry. Jerry is in education. There's a real estate advisor.
Yeah.
Pleasure meeting all of you. HR. Okay. I think that's There's corporate relations. Okay. Yes, my background is in corporate communications as well. Flavia, pleasure meeting you. Okay. Now with that in mind, I think we can start our presentation now that I have an idea of at least who it is that I'm talking to. Abby, is that okay for me to share my screen?
Please go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So just let me minimize this. Okay. So let's start by what is this personal branding, right? And I think arguably personal branding has been the biggest word of 2024, or at least that's how it feels to me. I feel like we are all now starting to get an appreciation of why we all need a personal brand. And before we even go deep into talking about personal branding, what I would love to say is this. We all, whether we like it or not, have a personal brand, or let's call it, we all have a reputation. Yeah, there is already something that people know you for. If we're talking about being at work, for example, you will find that there's a certain individual that you know. If you missed a certain meeting, you're certain that if they attended that meeting, they'd be the best person for you to go to and have a small debrief. You know, what was it about? If you're struggling with some strategy issues, you know that there's a certain individual at the office that you can speak to, and you'll have a very quick brainstorm session, and it will be quite fruitful. In the same breath, there are people that we know for sure you can count on them to get to work at 10, yet they are supposed to be there at 9, right? So there's already a reputation, there's already something that people know you for. Yeah. So the whole idea around personal branding is for us to now control the narrative and to take back control of what people perceive us as. It's about personal branding, perception, they go hand in hand. Yeah. So personal branding basically is what people say about you when you're not in the room. That's one way. And that's actually Jeff Bezos' definition of a personal brand. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room. That's one. Another way of defining personal branding is simply who you are. It's a mix of who you are. When I say who you are, I mean your personality, I mean your values, I mean what is it that you hold dear, right? What is it so that's who you are, right? And then what you do professionally. So what you do professionally is now the skills that you have, right? When you go for work, what is your bread and butter? That's now the two is now what we call personal branding, a mix of who you are and what you do professionally, right? So here we're talking about how you present yourself to the world, right? And why is it important for us to think about? Because you'd say, because we're probably all in corporate here, you already have a job, right? Why do you need a strong personal brand? So this is what we're going to look into today. So sorry. Now, here we're looking at how exactly do we position ourselves for these high impact opportunities? How do we position ourselves in a way that allows us to have a strong personal brand? And why do we even need this strong personal brand in the first place, right? So the first thing is we need a strong personal brand because we need to be seen by the right people. We are all at the point where we're starting to take stock of what we've done in 2024. We're at the start of the year, we probably all set goals, right? We said that in 2024, I want to have achieved A, B, C, D. Maybe you wanted to get a promotion at work. Maybe you wanted to shift careers, right? Maybe you wanted even at home, right? Maybe there are just certain goals that you set for yourself. So now that we are taking stock, we are looking at, okay, how far did I get with my goals, right? So this one, if you are looking to get to get a promotion, even now in 2025, if you're looking to get a promotion, if you're looking to change careers, if you're looking to just level up, if you're looking to also get into consultancy, then it's important for you to have a strong personal brand, because this ensures that your skills and potential are visible, and not just visible to everyone, but visible to the decision makers at work and beyond. I love to say in personal branding that you don't need to be, simply because we're saying put yourself out there, it does not mean that the whole world needs to know who you are. No, it's just the people in your industry. If your niche is HR, for example, or if it's education, or if you are in real estate, then who are the decision makers in real estate, right? Who are the decision makers that you'd want them to see you as this professional that really knows what he or she is all about, right? So with a strong personal brand, you're able to be visible to these people. And then even at work, because we're already currently in corporate, right? There's already you want people to know that Daisy is good at strategy. You want anything strategy, go to Daisy. Or you want to be known as the perfect person for client relations, such that when there's a new when you're working with a new team, a new organization, you know that they want to send you and not anyone else to represent your company. Now, if you have a strong personal brand and you consistently talk about customer client relations, then automatically, even when the opportunity arises at work, you are the best person for it, right? You're the go-to person for these high profile projects. You're the go-to person for promotions because you are already positioning yourself as that, right? So one, it is very important for you to have a personal brand because you will be seen by the right people. Now, sorry. Yeah, there's a bit of a lag. I'm sorry. Then the second thing is I love to say that you are more than your job title. From my interactions with clients that I've worked with this year so far, a lot of them tend to be in corporate. They're trying to level up, just as everyone who's in this session is trying to level up, right? But now the thing is, you are so used to being regional manager ABCD company, right? Now, what happens in the event that ABCD company decides that your role is redundant for one, maybe, or they decide to just do some organizational changes and now your job is no longer there, or just there's layoffs, especially for people in the tech industry. There's been a lot of layoffs the past few years. So now, who are you beyond regional manager at ABCD? Who are you beyond the admin at ABCD company, right? So the thing is, with a strong personal brand, then yes, you may be the regional manager at ABCD company, but people will relate with you beyond just that, right? So for me as a personal branding strategist, yes, I could have been working for a certain organization, but simply because my personal brand is very strong, it means that even if I was to suddenly stop working there, I can easily transition into another role because people already identify me as a personal branding strategist and not personal branding strategist at ABCD company. You know, the thing about being in corporate is things shift at any moment, right? And even for some people who are looking into retirement, right? So you are used to that certain title, you've retired, you still want to have an active professional life, but you're attached to your title, right? So with a strong personal brand, it gets that pressure out of you. It's now okay. These are my skills, and this is what people know me for, not the job, not where I am employed, right? That's why it's very, very important to have a strong personal brand for you at this time, right? At this point in time. Actually, there's a statistic that I read somewhere that by the time we get to 2030, it would be difficult for you to land opportunities if you don't have a strong personal brand. Because you see, the thing is, people will want to see, okay, you say you're passionate about personal branding, for example, for me, right? So what actually shows that I'm passionate about personal branding? Are there projects that I've done around it, right? What does my digital footprint look like? These days, actually, I'm here with the HR experts. They say that every time you look, people make applications, the first thing is to look at their digital footprint, right? So if you're looking at your digital footprint and you find that Daisy is talking about all nonsense there is to talk about. And then there's another lady, there's Faith here, who is saying she's a personal branding strategist. And when you look her up online, her digital footprint looks like, you know, personal branding from A to Z. Who are you likely to go for? Faith, of course, right? So having a strong personal brand puts you, it really elevates you, right? Then the third one, 1 second. Just one moment. Yeah. The thing with a strong personal brand is you're able to build a reputation for yourself that cannot be ignored. It simply cannot be ignored. Because, for example, you're passionate about real estate, you are in the real estate field, right? And today you're telling us, okay, so this is how you spot a scam. This is how you know that whatever piece of land you want to get is they're scamming you. They want to take money from you, right? Today you're telling us this is how to identify scams in the market. Tomorrow you're telling us, like it's been raining here in Kenya yesterday, there's been a lot of flooding, right? There are regions in Nairobi that experience serious floods, right? So tomorrow you come and tell us, okay, so you want to buy a piece of land along Mombasa Road somewhere. What are you going to consider? There's floods. How can you tell when it's not raining that this place has poor drainage, for example? Tomorrow, then you come and talk to us about, you come and talk to fellow people in the real estate industry. When you are getting started in the real estate industry, what was it that you knew that you didn't know then that you know now, right? There's this thing that I love to say, learn from the people who've gone ahead of you, and then educate the ones who are coming. So by saying educate the ones who are behind you, think about where you are when you started, right? What was it that you would love people to know? What was it that took you quite a lot of time to figure out and you wish you knew it sooner? So you see, if today you're talking about this is how you don't get scammed in when getting land, right? Tomorrow you're talking about this is how to spot a flooded area or a place that would flood very easily. The following day, you're talking to fellow real estate professionals who are just starting out and you're giving them tips. Then it means that you're already building a reputation around you that shows that you're an authority in your field, right? That shows that, okay, this is someone that I really can't ignore. This is someone that clearly knows what they're talking about. And this is someone that I would want to work with, right? So naturally, you'll even find that this is how people get headhunted, because now another real estate firm will come and say, hey, you've been doing very beautiful things, please come work for us, for example, right? Whatever it is they're paying you will double because they can clearly see your value, right? It is like the thing about having a personal brand, this is something else that I love to say. It's like your employee that does not sleep. It works for you 24/7. I'm having the opportunity to speak to you around personal branding because I put myself out there consistently for a period of time, to the point that people noticed me, Purity noticed me, and other people noticed me, and they figured, okay, this is someone we'd want to work with. Why don't we invite her to come speak about personal branding? It's the same. Just put yourself out there, build a reputation that you simply cannot ignore, right? Now, this just stresses what I'm from saying in a minute. You suddenly become the go-to person in your field because you've been sharing your knowledge consistently, right? And here, when I say share your knowledge consistently, it means that very same fundamental thing, right? For example, again, back to the real estate example, everyone who wants to get a piece of land or who wants to buy an apartment somewhere, there's always that issue for, am I really getting a good deal? Is this genuine? Am I going to lose my money? So if you share consistently about how to scam, how to identify scammers in that industry, for example, then it means people will now come and trust you because you're the one who knows even how to spot the scammers, right? And then you're standing out as someone who solves these problems for them. And now the beauty is you are now using this brand to showcase your expertise. Because you see, if you keep talking to us about, okay, title deed, it's a process to get a title deed in Kenya. This is what you need to do. We're already showing us your expertise. You're already showing me, okay, so if you can give me this information, then how much more can you give me once I put money at the table, right? So having a strong personal brand positions you as a go-to person in your field. Now, I've been talking about why we should have a very strong personal brand, right? But the question that follows is, okay, so where do I even start from? And a lot of us, especially those of us who are in corporate, we often have this fear that what will people say about me at work? I'm starting to attract quite a bit of attention. Some colleagues are starting to look at me some certain type of way. It's as if I am making people uncomfortable. I find that people in corporate especially tend to hold back when it comes to building their personal brand. But I think let me take you through a step-by-step process that will ease you into that process, right? And I'd love to believe that since we're all here, we're really thinking about elevating ourselves in 2025, right? And I would stress that the very first point, if you have not yet started, is to build a strong personal brand for yourself. How do we do this? First of all, remember from the definition, I said that a personal brand is a unique mix of who you are and what you do professionally, right? So here I have this personal identity. I would give you a small assignment to just go sit down and identify what your core values are, right? And a good way of identifying this is asking people around you, asking people in your spheres of influence. And don't just ask your friends, ask your colleagues. If you've worked with, ask your boss. If you can, ask your boss. Ask clients that you've worked with before. Just ask people around your spheres of influence who can give you people who know you from different versions of you, right? So that they are able to give you a proper view of what, you know, what they think your values are. And the thing is, when you ask, you'll notice that there's some values that will come up quite a bit. Maybe you'll see people will say your integrity will come up quite a bit, hardworking will come up quite a bit, something like that. Yeah. So identify what your values are. And I'll tell you in a minute why it's important to have this in check. Also, your skills and your passions at work. What is it that you do and you do it very well, right? That's one. That you probably already have in check. But what about your passions outside of work? Because allow me to segue a bit and say this. We have three brands, right? We have your work brand. This is the you who shows up at work 8 to 5 every day, right? And then there's the you after 5. And I love to say this because there's even usually a joke that after 5, I'm a whole new person altogether. So the thing is, who is this at work and who is this person after 5, or over the weekends? The you after 5 is what we call your social brand. It's now the more casual, relatable side of you, right? The you that we'll see with your children, with your partners, with your friends, with your family. And then we have now your personal brand. So the idea is for our work-life integration, because these days we love to talk about work-life integration as opposed to work-life balance, it's important to infuse your professional brand and your social brand into now your personal brand, right? This will make work-life integration much easier for you because you see, if you're passionate about strategy or about helping people, like when she made the introduction, she said, I can bring out your own unique features that you might not even know yourself, right? So if you understand that this is your passion, then you find a way to infuse it into your work, and then now you find that your work life is much more fulfilling, right? So once you've understood these things, now think about, let's go here to your online presence. How do you communicate this? And even when you're communicating this, who are you communicating it to, right? I've just said speaking to everyone is speaking to no one. What I mean is, even when you're now establishing yourself or putting yourself out there, we don't need everyone to see you. If you're in the education field, okay, maybe let me not use that. If you are in branding and marketing, like myself, right, then it means that I need people in my industry to see me, right? I need businesses to see me. I need key decision makers in corporate to see me so that they'll allow me to come into their organizations and train their staff, for example. Or if it's businesses and I'm a digital marketer, business founders will now be able to see me and they'll realize, so it's faith that I'm looking for to fill the gap because I feel like my online presence is struggling, right? So you've identified what, and the thing about setting up your online presence, this is very important before I even go on to the next, is we love to say, go to where your target audience is, right? Now that based on the industries that you've shared, now that you have people in education, real estate, marketing, HR, for us, specifically, LinkedIn is a very good space to first start setting up your online presence. Why do I say this? Because on LinkedIn, there's the decision makers that we are looking for. These founders, these business owners, people in our industries, they like to hang out on LinkedIn. So when you set up an online presence on there, people now are able to see and realize, okay, so I've been really struggling with recruitment, right? I really want to let go of my staff. They're not delivering as I anticipated, but I don't know how to go about it. Then there's Zipporah, who's constantly creating content around recruitment, hiring, firing, that whole process. Automatically, they'd want to come to you for insights, right? So first, identify what your core values are, your skills, your passions. Identify your which the online presence, the platform that you would want to start working on. And this platform is informed again by your audiences, right? So the platform is informed by your audiences. So once you have that in check, now when you're presenting yourself to them, what exactly is it that you're trying to communicate, right? This again is informed by your skills, your passions. What is it that you would share? Like when we started, I said I personally could talk about personal branding all day, every day. For you, it could be something different. So once you've identified that, start talking about it. And then remember, personal branding is all about perception. It's all about optics. It's all about controlling the narrative. So when you're looking at a professional image, we're looking at how you're presenting yourself. You know, if you're I love to use this example. As an accountant on LinkedIn, then you can't show up looking very casual, or you're in banking and you're LinkedIn and you're looking casual. It does not align, right, with your industry. However, as a creative and you're on LinkedIn, I'd want to see the more creative version of you. I don't know, because you are on LinkedIn does not mean that you need to be in a full suit and tie. You're a creative. Whatever image that you present to the world should be consistent also with whatever your background is, right? So here you consider how you present yourself through how you dress, also how you behave, how you communicate, right? And then the other thing about personal branding is networks. At the end of the day, we are trying to be visible out there, and we're trying to be visible to the right people who hold the keys that will unlock even more and more and more of where we want to go to, right? So networking is a key part of personal branding. Here we are talking about building and maintaining professional relationships. And allow me to say this about networking specifically. We usually approach it from a point of, what am I going to take from you? What I now know Purity. I know she's a top HR professional, right? So I might go with the idea of, okay, so Purity might know someone who can give me a job, But if I approach that, if now I take that approach and try to network with her, people can easily see through you, right? So when you're trying to network with people, it's more about what value can you bring to them, right? It's all about value exchange. And if you're the one making that introductory, if you're the one starting the conversation or actively seeking to network with someone, then think about it. Think about how can you add to what they already have. Then once you communicate this, it's easier for them to also reciprocate, right? So that's what I'd say are like the 4 key things about personal branding, right? If you are to take away nothing else from this conversation, just take away this. Identify your personal identity. Identify what platform you'd want to present yourself, and then think about your professional image. How exactly do you want to present yourself, right? And then consider now, who are these people that I need to start knowing in my industry, right? Who can elevate me? Now, this is just, again, just a brief breakdown of what I'm just from communicating. Do a very good assessment of yourself. On this assessment bit, actually, identify your strengths, weaknesses, your values, and your passions. Here, I'd want you to place emphasis on your strengths. I remember in school, we would often be told, okay, you'd realize, like for me, I was very good. I was not very good with the sciences, right? But I was very good with the English, history, um, French, and that stuff. So you'd find that they tell you that simply now, because you're poor at chemistry, please take more time to at least try to understand chemistry. In personal branding, it's the opposite, right? I love to say this often. Operate from your areas of strength. Identify your areas of strength, because this is what will wake you, like your purpose. Now, let me bring in a new concept. Your purpose is closely tied to your areas of strength. There's a good reason why when you write people are wowed, it's because that's your natural gift. So the idea here is, when you're developing your personal brand, develop it around your areas of strength. If you're good at strategy, develop your personal brand around strategy, right? Because the thing is, personal branding does not end. You cannot say, until now I've picked in terms of personal branding. The more you go on with your life, the more you live through life, the more you live through your career, the more you continue to deepen or rather strengthen your personal brand. So if you develop your personal brand around an area that you're not good at, or you're not interested in, or you're not passionate about, it will not be sustainable, because this means we consistently need to be visible, consistently talk about the same thing. If it's something that you don't like, it will not be sustainable for you. So it's important for you to establish your personal brand around something that, you see, I love to use this as well. When you go to bed that night, say, for example, for me, actually, this is a perfect example. I came to realize I love to teach. So after this session, I'll probably sit and feel, okay, that was a good day. I'd love to do that again. So identify what that is for you. What is that action that once you do it, you go to bed that day and you feel like, yes, that was a good day, right? Then now, after you've identified that, create a compelling and personal brand statement. This means, and I love to say, you can use the X, Y, Z format like we do when we are making our CVs, when you're drafting our CVs. This means what you do, who you do it for, and the results that they get from working with you. That is what your brand statement is about. Then set goals. What is it that you want to achieve with your personal brand? This is why it's very important for you to understand what is it exactly that you're trying to accomplish. Because on LinkedIn, there are people who could be on there trying to attract clients, right? There are people who are on there who are just simply trying to establish thought leadership, right? They want the right people to see them. There are people who are trying to get a better job, so they want recruiters to see them. So if you find someone who wants recruiters to see them, the kind of content they'll put up is different from the kind of content that someone who's trying to seek clients will put out. So we usually find ourselves, you go on LinkedIn, you find someone who's in the same field as you look at what they do, you go and copy paste it. It will not work the same, because we all have different goals. So identify what your goal is, because this will even tailor the kind of content you will put out. Now, again, building a personal brand means being visible, right? So being visible in the times that we live in, means being visible online and offline. So online, which is a very big part of your personal brand, because offline, I mean, how many people can you meet in a day? It's very limited, right? Probably your colleagues at work and your family back at home on a typical weekday. But online, you publish content and it can reach thousands every day, So it's important for you to have a strong online presence. Here I have used the example of LinkedIn, because I believe that in this session that we are in, LinkedIn would work best for most, if not all of us. However, personal branding is not just for LinkedIn. You can build your personal brand should be guided by where your audiences are. If your audiences are not on LinkedIn, they're on Facebook, then consider building your online presence on Facebook, right? But here, so for this conversation, for the purpose of this conversation, on LinkedIn, it simply means, first, optimize your LinkedIn profile. I'd like to believe that we all have LinkedIn profiles on here. And if we all don't, maybe you could talk to me afterwards and I can give you a few tips of how to set up one. But on LinkedIn, ensure that you have a banner, a headline section that introduces who you are, an experience section that talks about what you do really. And the key thing here is to still remember to follow the same format, X, Y, Z. Who you are, what you do, who you do it for. It's a simple way of you ensuring that you're communicating your actual value with your audiences, right? So beyond just optimizing your profile, now you have to create content. And this is what I was telling you, to operate from your areas of strengths and establish your personal brand around areas that you find interesting, so that even when you talk about content creation, it won't be difficult, because this is something that you're already passionate about, right? So so beyond just LinkedIn, it would be very good for you to have a website, right? Where you consistently keep talking about what you do, who you do it for, and the results that they get from working with you, right? Beyond just having a website, if you have audiences on other platforms, consider joining these other platforms as well, right? Then we are back again at why we need to develop strong relationships. The thing about having a personal brand is it can't exist in a silo, right? So in this case, what I mean is you need to know people in your industry, right? You need to know people in the key decision makers that you'd want to know you. So how do you get to do this? By joining industry groups, by attending networking events, by engaging in professional communities. This is a very good place for you to get to meet someone, right? And then when we're trying to develop these relationships with them, ensure that they're meaningful. And I'll still go back to, by meaningful, this means what is it that you can add, to them? What value is it that you can bring, right? And then you'll find that it tends to be reciprocated. And then active participation. Even specifically on LinkedIn, the best way to grow is to contribute to discussions, offer support, and also share key insights, right? Someone might publish content around, okay, you have 3 work brands, like I was telling you, I can publish content around it. Then you come down there and now offer additional insights around it, if this is your area of expertise, and say, yeah, this is how to achieve work-life integration. I have seen it work for me. I have seen it work for many people. You can consider doing A, B, C, D to strengthen, this 3 brands and make them one, for example, right? So that's how. So if you come and share additional insights such as this, then it means even me as the creator, I would take note of, okay, so this is Faith who has just said I should do this. Faith seems to know quite a bit. So I'm likely to just go pick at Faith's profile, maybe even start a rapport and say, hi, thank you for your additional insights. You start talking, you've developed a relationship. It's that simple, right? Now, the other thing is our brands keep evolving from time to time, right? Like when I started at the start of the year and where I am now, I would tell you for sure is different. It's still the same path, but my messaging has changed. My audience has changed. So it's important to keep evolving. And while you do so, get feedback from people you've worked with before, from your clients, from your friends, from people who can see you growing every day. It's important to get feedback so that you even understand, is the perception that I'm trying to present to the world actually, is that it? Is that what is on the ground? What I think, is that what is on the ground? Feedback is a good way for you to know this. Analytics on LinkedIn, you can easily tell the post that did well, the one that didn't. You find one that did well, double up on that, right? So the idea is to just continuously keep improving. And it's okay if your brand pivots and changes into something else. That's perfectly okay. Just take your audience through, just communicate why you're making this change, right? And yeah, I think that's it from me. And I think I will open up the floor to questions. I have tried fairly to keep time, Abby. Yeah. So if there's any questions, I am happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you, Daisy. That was a powerful one. Yeah, we've learned so many things from my hand, right? That having to be on what's it called? On LinkedIn, that we should all be on LinkedIn, which is very advisable for every professional, which we all know that it's quite important that we are actually online in LinkedIn, because that's where, especially people in the corporate world, that's where you can actually have impact. And the other thing I also learned from what the discussion is making sure that we are not just building the network, but we are building it to add value, because nobody wants to have a relationship that they're not getting any value out of it. So it's very important that we also have that at the back of our mind. So I don't know if we have any questions. Please, we can drop our questions. Although I have a question, but let me see if anybody has a question first before I ask my own questions. Do we have any question? Please, you can drop it in the chat box. Thank you, Daisy, for that powerful insight. Yeah. Okay. Okay, someone said he will reach out to you for the optimization of the profile. So get ready to get emails. And you can also connect with her on LinkedIn.
Yes, my name is Daisy Keter on LinkedIn. Daisy Keter with a purple vibrant background.
Okay, let me see if you have any questions. If we don't, I'll... Okay, I think there's a question here. How will you notice a real account, for example, when engaging with international university? I don't know. Do you understand the question?
How would you notice a real account? Okay, maybe the question is you're afraid there could be a scam account and they're asking for maybe money from you. I'm not sure, but typically for the organizations, first go look at the people. You see, when you click on a company page on LinkedIn, it allows you to see the people who work there, right? So go look at the people who work there and then go to their website. If what they have on their website is also what is showing up on LinkedIn, that's good. If what they have on their website and what they have on LinkedIn seems like there's mismatch, then it's unlikely to be, especially if it's a university on LinkedIn, it should have quite a good number of followers. So if it looks like no one's following them, that's a red flag, I would say. But make the comparison, the website, the LinkedIn. If it actually on their website, more often than not, they attach the links to their LinkedIn, their TikTok, their Facebook, all their social media pages. So what you do on their website, click on the LinkedIn link. If from the website it directs you directly to LinkedIn, good. If it doesn't, then that's the red flag. Yeah. I think that's what I'd say to that.
Okay. I don't know. I think Kelvin has a question. He's raising up his hand. So let me just unmute him so that he can ask his question.
Yeah, hello everyone.
Hello.
I hope you can see me. Thank you. That's
Yes,
a
we can hear
powerful
you.
presentation. Thank you. That's a powerful presentation, Daisy. Thank you, Abby, for organizing this. Now, in fact, I was already even typing my question, but here goes my question. So, to Daisy, I'm a follower of Daisy on LinkedIn. So, the question is, how do you balance between now you have your own personal professional branding, and then at the same time within that personal account you have to do a corporate branding? I don't know whether you get me. So like for me, I work for an organization, and within the same page I need to promote again whatever we are doing. And within the same page, I would also want to promote my own personal, my own personal profession. Thank you.
Okay. That's Chris, right?
Done?
Chris?
Kelvin.
Yes,
Kelvin.
it's Kelvin. Oh, Kelvin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So Kelvin, what I would say is, you see how we used to draw the Venn diagrams, then we find the sweet spot, there's your professional, what you do professionally, and then there's your personal brand. I'm certain there's a sweet spot, there's a bit where they overlap, right? So
Okay.
now create content around that which the sweet spot between your professional brand and your personal brand. If you're supposed to, what maybe let me just tell me what your background is so that I can be a bit more specific.
My background is in finance and I work in HR.
Okay.
But whatever I'm promoting is based on HR, employability, and stuff like that.
Okay, so that's good, because you see now you can just frame it from an overall perspective. Is it that you have to promote it so that you get clients for your business, for your job?
Now, this is what happens.
Mhm.
I run a program within the organization. I'm the one promoting the program within the organization. So I need to promote the program within my LinkedIn page because that is where we have one corporate page, but the corporate page basically often is for staffing. But there is this specific program, and I'm the brainchild of this specific program. So before I can come up with a page or a different page for that same program, because it's a staffing company, but we have a program where we want to upskill Africans. So I need to promote this agenda within my personal page, tagging the company and, doing stuff like that.
Okay, great. So what I would advise you to do is focus more on the why you're doing that program. Why is it your brainchild, right? Focus more about what the program is about and less about the organization that you work for, such that in the event you decide to go solo, maybe run your own consultancy or shift to a different organization, then they won't attach you to ABCD company. They'll attach you to, they'll now think of you as, the one who used to talk about upskilling Africans, right? So make your content more focused on the value that people will get out of the program. And then you could just tell them to enroll or something like that, reach out to me via DM. The idea here is we don't want people to attach you with that organization. We want people to attach you with your work, right?
Okay.
I hope that's
Perfect.
clear.
Okay.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, Daisy.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have 3 questions here, so let's see how we can go around. Also have another question from my own personal hand. So how do you balance? So I have a question. How do you balance on copyright of an organization business success attributed to you while building your professional brand?
This one is a bit tricky, and I've come to appreciate this even when working with clients, because at times, yes, there are things we've done for the organization, but it was not just a you thing. It was maybe a collaborative process, right, that led to that specific achievement. So what I would say is, first of all, bring that aspect in of it was not just you, so that you can also have peace of mind while at work. Actually, acknowledge that this was teamwork, and then again, just as I've told Kelvin, focus more on the why, whatever it is that you've achieved. What was the vision that you had behind it? What is the impact that you've had? Talk about it in brief, as opposed to sharing more about, okay, so this is what we did at work, right? Because the idea is we want people to see us for who we are and our skills, not necessarily the organizations that we work for. So I think that's what I would say. First, consider acknowledging that it was team effort. That's very key. Relationships, right? And then secondly, why the process, the end result, the impact, that way. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I have another question. How do we mitigate against AI fraud cases? So I
To be
think
honest,
maybe on LinkedIn.
on what I'm not sure I get the AI fraud cases.
Yes. How do we mitigate against AI fraud cases?
I'm not quite sure I understand what that means. Maybe Anthony could expound.
Okay, let me go to the next question. So we'll just wait for him to elaborate more on the question. So we have another question. Can I change from a marketing role to a finance role using my brand, personal branding?
Absolutely. Yes, you can. You can do this very easily. The thing is, it's important for you to communicate, because I presume that you already have a brand established around marketing. So why is it that you're evolving to finance? Like, answer the questions why, how, what is the story behind it, right? Just take us through. Okay, so I was in marketing. I've been in marketing the past 5 years. I started realizing there's a gap. This gap can be filled by finance. Just communicate to us the why. We will adjust as your audience.
Okay, so still waiting for Anthony to elaborate on that. So let me ask my question. Okay, so this question is actually for top executive, right? So you mentioned having a presence on LinkedIn and also having content out or adding contribution to information on LinkedIn. So for a top executive that rarely has time, right, to even do some personal things. So now the person really wants to have their brand identity up there in the social media, that's the LinkedIn, the professional world. So how do you mitigate or how do you manage such is it proper to get someone to do that for you, knowing fully well that the person will be the person to put out the post and also engage? So they are not engaging with you. So they are engaging with your maybe assistant. So is that proper? Is this something that is, should I say, proper, acceptable, and shows your personal brand?
First, I would say, especially for top executives, it's really critical for you more than anyone else to have a strong personal brand. And then, yes, again, as a top executive, you probably don't have a lot of time, and there's a lot of things you need to put on your to get done. However, a personal brand, it should be top priority for you, right? To mean that you should have some level of, you should at least strive to fix some time in your calendar to really think about your personal brand. Then what I would say with regards to this is, even in personal branding, we have done for you, we have done with you kind of personal branding. Yes, it's proper to have someone respond on your behalf. Let's just use an example. At times, Elon Musk is the one who sends out the tweets himself. At times, it's his staff, right? And it's the same for everyone. We don't expect a top CEO to be able to sit down every day and interact with everyone. However, the person that you choose to work with to do that for you is key. It needs to be someone that you are aligned. It needs to be someone that you can already tell. If it's Daisy, Daisy speaks my language already. She understands where I'm coming from. She understands what the goal is. So even if you're to get someone to work with you, then ensure that this is someone that you're very much in alignment with, such that when they put something up, you don't feel like, oh my goodness, they're tainting my image. So it's very key, it's critical for you to ensure that the person that you're entrusting with your personal brand is someone that is competent and is also someone that understands you and understands your language and understands what goals you're trying to set for yourself. So yes, absolutely. Every top executive probably has a team that does that for them. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for shedding more light on that. Please don't forget to fill the feedback forms. We want to hear from you so that we have your information on this session. And just few minutes of your time. Purity, can you drop in the feedback form again so that people can see it? So let me go through the other question. Okay, so Anthony has written, we wrote it. So let's say, how do you mitigate against AI fraud cases on the brand of an organization? Yeah.
Let me just say that again.
How do you mitigate against AI fraud cases on the brand of an organization? So the AI cases fraud is to mitigate on the brand of an organization.
I think I'm still pretty lost. What I would advise is maybe Anthony, after we're done with this, just send me a quick DM on LinkedIn, and then we can have a chat, because I'm a bit lost on AI fraud cases and then organizations. Is it that an organization is not real? And I haven't gotten the question, but let's further it. On the DMs, Anthony. My LinkedIn is Daisy Keter. Yes, let's chat there.
Okay, so I have another question for Lydia. Hello, my question is, okay, one of us, our professions are weird and weird with societal expectation. So she gave an example. How do you, I think this is the question, how do you balance between being a lawyer, a writer / poet, and also politics? So how do you balance our personal brand with all this together?
Yeah. So what I would say is this. Again, remember when we were talking about establishing your personal brand, we talked about identifying your why, right? Identifying what your passions, your interests, your skills are. So if you are a lawyer, yet you're also a poet and you're interested in politics, imagine it's okay. It means that you're a multi-passionate soul and you're interested about more than one thing. So if you want people to know you as a lawyer who's a poet, great. It means even when you're creating content, do content on Monday about lawyer stuff, whatever area of law you practice. And then on Friday, share with us that poem that you wrote that made your week or something. It's okay, because again, remember, we want to know you beyond just what you do professionally. So it's perfectly clear. And if you also are passionate about politics, infuse it in your brand. Your brand is yours, it's personal, it's you, right? So whatever floats your boat, really. And you know, the thing is, the more you creating content, the more you keep at it, the more you'll realize, okay, so maybe I'm into politics more, or I'd want people to know me for politics more than I'd want them to know me as a poet or a lawyer. And then you just fine tune it that way. So it's okay. Position yourself as a multi-passionate soul who likes all those things. That would be my own advice.
Okay, thank you. We still have more questions, so let me see if we can take two more. Okay.
Okay.
Can I have a more aligned personal brand with my career base? E.g., I am in real estate and I have passion for advertising and media. How can I come up with a stronger personal brand based on this?
This is actually amazing because there's a sweet spot between real estate and advertising and media. Bring out your real estate, bring out your passion for advertising and media and infuse that with real estate. Like, talk about real estate and let's see the ads that you'll come up with, the real estate ads. Like, now infuse, because you see, the thing about real estate actually is we need to see it needs to be very visual, right? I need to feel like, yes, I want to buy that home. So of course, with your good advertising and media skills, it's good for you. You can bring this to easily. Actually, there are people who do social media management, digital marketing exclusively for real estate, and that's good because now you've niched down. It means that you'll have now strategies that are specifically tailored for real estate. You're actually going to bank more money than a digital marketer who works for real estate, works for doctors, works for lawyers. Yeah. So that's actually beautiful. Just rephrase that and let it be advertising and media specifically for real estate. You'll bank really well when you do that.
Okay, thank you. Please don't forget to fill the feedback form. It's very important. And you can also reach us if you have more questions about career reframing. So you can see on the screen share. So you can reach us via our YouTube. Please follow us on our YouTube and subscribe to our channel. You can reach us through our email, which is also on the screen, careerreframing@gmail.com. So we're also available for your HR support. We do corporate coaching. We also do career coaching and training. So we are easily accessible via the email, so you can reach out to us. So I think we'll just take one last question, then we'll call it a day, and we'll call it a year for career reframing. So this is our last webinar for the year. So I think this question actually aligns with what you just explained, so that I read it out so that it's not as if we left the question and then. So my question is for those with different skills and talents. Must we stick with one personal brand, or can we harmonize all of them without looking like a jack of all trade? Yeah.
Yeah, this is from my own perspective. I would say this. I've come to realize that it's okay. We have different passions. And that's you. You're multi-passionate, right? Find a way. Like, I noticed, just create content. If today you're, say, an engineer and you're also interested in fashion, do an engineering content today and tomorrow fashion. On Wednesday, you'll just find a way to bring those two or harmonize them. And even if you don't, you'll realize, okay, maybe I want people to know me as a fashionista more than I want them to know me as an engineer. Or you'll realize at the end, people will start saying, that's that engineering girl who's a fashionista, So it's okay to bring out all aspects of you, because I'll insist, your personal brand is personally you. So if that's, just bring it out. Just as you are, create content, or have a visible online presence, and come as you are. That's what will attract people to you at the end of the day. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Thank you, Daisy. Thank you for a wonderful time. I like what you just mentioned. Be yourself. Be yourself. That's very important. Even from our own HR angle, that's what we always say. Just be yourself. Yeah. Let your true self shows. Don't try to be another person. So we'll thank you all for this session. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your interaction. And next year, we'll start up again 2025. So we hope that this session has actually get you hope to actually do something concerning your personal branding coming next year. So we are available for your corporate coaching. We are also available for your career coaching. We also do HR support and training. So you can easily reach us through our email, which you can see on the screen, careerreframing@gmail.com. Also, these are YouTube channel at Career Reframing Series. Please subscribe to our channels. We always have a webinar there for you to look at and listen to all over again and get information that you want to. So we thank you all for coming. Thank you. I'm sure your lunch break it's actually has been worth it. We've learned one or two things today. And we hope that everyone make use of all the tips and the insight that Daisy has shared with us. So Daisy, once again, thank you so much for joining. And also to my colleague Purity, thanks for being there. You can say hello so that we call it a day today.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Daisy. What a session. You have brought it home. You have done so well. I believe everybody who has attended today, yeah, thank you, Violet. Everybody who has come in today has some work to do between now and January so that you can position your personal brand in a better way. So thank you. Over to you, Abby.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. Let's have a lovely afternoon. Please don't forget to fill out our feedback form. It's quite important for us. We want to also hear from you as well. Thank you. So see you next year. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Anthony, yes, you can
Bye.
call. Thank you. Bye. If you haven't filled the feedback, just fill in, please. It will take you 1 minute. If you're still here, please would like to hear your feedback.
Can you drop it again so that at least they have it easily?
Yeah.
So help us fill the feedback form. We appreciate your feedback. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Peter, thank you.
Okay. I think we're still recording. You can put that on.